presentation today, we'll talk about the Egyptian love poems. Let's get started. So, we're going to first be talking about the beginning of written words. The earliest writing systems were cuneiforms and hieroglyphics, which were developed by the Sumerians and Egyptians, respectively. This started to emerge in the late 4th millennium BCE. The scribal cultures. This was writings which was specialized profession, not for everyone. This means that writing was basically a job, and not everyone can do this. At in the 4th millennium BCE, most people couldn't read or write, and silent reading was rare. So many people didn't just read for fun. So while reading was not well known at this time, it had a significant meaning, and it was held poetry mainly was held to great importance. Literature in ancient Egypt. Literature in ancient Egypt was highly valued. Ancient Egyptians placed great importance on literature and artistic expression. Their work were their writings and texts would be inscribed on papyrus and temple walls, which would last for centuries. This had a large cultural influence on many Egyptians. These works even contributed to the folkloric tradition of other nations. While it was first influenced by religious beliefs, Egyptian literature quickly expanded to reflect daily human life, such as people love for other people. There was different purposes for different literature. They viewed literature as a source of spiritual enrichment, a means to show expression, and a point of pride for both authors and the readers alike. Literature had a diverse form, such as dramatic poetry, which I'll be talking about, even plays and notable love poetry, which I'm going to be talking about. There were many different poetic techniques which were used. Ancient Egyptians were masters of romantic poetry, which created emotion in text. They would use imagery and smiles pulled straight from the surroundings. For example, the picture I have to the right is a picture of the Nile River in Egypt, which many authors would use. An example of how people may use smiles is that a lover might describe his beloved as a garden full of beautiful papyrus blossoms. This shows how someone may describe their loved one. Another Egyptian poem shows a lover's strong resolve. He states that he would swim past crocodiles just to reach his beloved on the other side of the Nile, which shows how much he cared for his loved one. These striking comparisons really showed how deeply they felt of their loved ones. The New Kingdom. So this will be talking about most of the love poetry in Egypt. Most of the surviving poetry in ancient Egypt would be survived in the New Kingdom, which was started in c. 1575 and ended in 1087 BCE. These poems offered an archaeological of the emotions, which showed the humor and liveliness often hidden behind large monuments, such as the picture I have in the background. They, these Egyptians would celebrate basic everyday pleasures such as food, music, dance, and love. This means that they would appreciate the food they eat, appreciate the music they hear while appreciating the dances, and mainly appreciate the love they felt for others. Many were found in Der Murder, a village of tomb builders, suggesting that literacy was widespread beyond just scribes. These poems were likely set to music, using metaphors from daily life and nature to express their love. So, poems are written from things they see, which is why this slide is called The Power of Sight. Sight is a key element in these poems, which would improve the poetry. Some examples are this one from a passage. She is more beautiful than any other. Looks. She is like a star goddess, brightly white, bright skin, with beautiful eyes for looks. with sweet lips for speaking, her arms more brilliantly than gold, her fingers like lotus flowers. These texts, such as this one, will have effects on the reader. This clear imagery makes beloved ones seem real, creating a detailed picture in the reader's minds. Why do we use sensory imagery? We use sensory imagery to give the reader a sense of what they are reading, such as a picture. Love is developed in our body, not just not just a feeling. This means that love is physical and a sensory experience. This has a direct connection on the audience. Sensory imagery clearly shows attraction, desire, and the happiness that comes from appreciating someone's physical appearance. It makes the emotion part of love feel real and instant, acting like a language of attraction that everyone understands. So, there are a poem has many lines that mean a lot of things, such as this line from a poem that I read. To see you with each look is better than eating and drinking. This line shows a powerful meaning, shows that the lover has great devotion to the loved one. This means that the lover puts the person they love almost at a godlike level, implying that they would rather see them than eat food or water. It goes beyond just physical beauty, highlighting the satisfaction and joy the lover finds in beloved one's very existence. I have a few likes, dislikes, and unanswered questions about Egyptian poetry. Some things I appreciate of Egyptian poetry is the directness and emotion they have that are relatable today. Another thing I enjoy is that the use of natural imagery and the effects they bring to life. Some areas I have difficulty understanding is the style of some texts, which can make it challenging to gain complete understanding. Some questions I have is that how can this text show up in a play? What musical instruments are you typically used in these plays or shows? And how did the audience respond to these performances? I would like to compare an Egyptian poem to a modern song now. An Egyptian poem was found around 2000 BCE and it states, "Your love has gotten deep inside me, like honey in a water or smell and spices." I would like to compare that text to a modern song, Perfect by Ed Sheeran. I will read it to you now. Barefoot on the grass, listen to our favorite songs. When you said you looked a mess, I whispered underneath my breath. But you heard it, darling, you look perfect tonight. Both of this poem and text both show how love can fill your whole being. The Egyptian poet uses different senses like taste and smell to explain love's deep reach, while Ed Sheeran shows that person you love making everything perfect. In both texts, love is strong and it can make someone feel complete. Thank you for listening my presentation. What we have learned is that ancient Egyptian love poems show that love is timeless. They remind us that an ancient people felt and expressed love in the same way we do today. I hope this presentation has inspired you to explore more of Egyptian amazing literature such as the love poems.